Hello, party people, we're live. Welcome, but I forgot something in the kitchen real quick. I need to grab something from the kitchen. We'll be right back in like a minute. Hi, Beansy, hello. Sorry, we'll be back in a minute. Need to fetch something from the kitchen. Hello, good to see you. Hello, hope you're doing great. Okay. Okay, I'm back. We can start. Happy Sunday. It's the 1st of June. Hope you're doing great. Guess who's playing Cookie Run Kingdom? You, I assume? Glad you're still enjoying your time with that game. Speaking of games, I mean, I meant to talk about that a little bit later, but since you opened that jar now, let's talk about it now. I was able to play the beta test of Rematch, and I gotta tell you, I've never had that much fun playing a football game before, and I've been playing all the football games. Played FIFA for several years. I've even played Pro Evolution Soccer for several years. Kids these days probably know the games as eFootball and FC. I used to know them as FIFA and Pro Evolution Soccer. I also played all the arcadey ones, and I gotta say, Rematch, man, it's different. When everyone is working together and actually treats it like a football game, it's the best football game I've ever played, but, you know, it's a competitive online game, and there's some bad apples, which can definitely ruin the experience. So, at its worst, it is the worst football game I've ever played, and at its best, it's the best football game I've ever played. And then, of course, there's also something in between, right? You can have some casual matches, which are terrible, neither terrible nor like very good either. So, you will have the entire range, and I cannot wait to see where this game is going, because it still has a ton of issues. Like when I played it, netcode was terrible, constant lags, people were constantly getting kicked out. Sometimes you would shoot the ball and then the enemy goalkeeper would just vanish, would just disappear. Not leaving the game, just disappear, and then you would score a goal easily because there was no one to defend the goal. But man, just the feeling that this game is portraying is something I've never felt playing a football game before, because it actually feels like playing street football. You have the same rules, like whoever is the last man in the back line is the goalkeeper. So goalkeeping is very fluid. You run out of the penalty range, and then you automatically are not the goalkeeper anymore. If somebody else switches places with you, they become the goalkeeper. It is so satisfying to play, because it actually plays like football. not actual football in a club, but street football. Like if you ever played football in a cage, this game feels like that, which is weird because it's a game, right? But man, I had so much fun. I spent like 12 hours in that beta. and that beta was running for 48 hours. 12 hours. I was no-lifing it. It also has customization options. It has a 3v3 mode, it has a 4v4 mode, and a 5v5 mode. The 5v5 is the recommended one, or the one that is... the game is intended to be played in a 5v5. And I understand why, because it makes a lot more... There's a lot less space or spacing on the field. Like, if you're playing 3v3, one person is the goalkeeper, it's basically a 2v2 on the field, and the field is huge, so there's a lot of spacing. And you don't have that with the 5v5, and it's just... Once again, the feeling that the game is portraying, I've never felt that in any other football game I've played, because it actually feels like playing soccer with your friends in the summer on a weekend. We used to play... we have a official German national team caged football spot here in my town, and I spent countless hours with my friends on that pitch, just playing around. And this game is just a perfect representation of that type of feel and that type of play, because it's very wild, it's very fluid. You don't really have any strict positioning positions like you would have in the club. In the club, you're supposed to have like one or maybe two roles. Like if you're a midfielder, depending on what, if you're a winger, for example, you usually always play the winging position. In street football, you're just everything and everywhere. You can be the defender, you can be the striker, you can be the midfielder, you can be the goalkeeper. And this game does such a good job.
Sorry to interrupt, but I am gonna gamble. ! Emoji.
Never gamble. You shouldn't gamble. 6 hours in a day, that's a school day for me. Yeah, I played after work until like 4 AM in the morning. I did not get a lot of sleep. Good luck with your gambles. Yeah, I did not really get a lot of sleep, but it was totally worth it. But once again, this game still has a bunch of issues, and it's coming out in 3 weeks, and I doubt that they will get rid of all the issues before the final release of the game, because that was already like the final beta version, so there's not going to be another beta. And it still has a lot of bugs, lots of glitches, netcode was terrible. It's gonna have a very rough launch. I doubt that they're gonna be able to resolve all the issues in the next 3 weeks, because the release is June 19th, and they're asking for $20 for the game, which is not a lot. I think it's 30, which is still not a lot considering the current gaming market. However, they also offer a battle pass, and they also have an item shop, which makes this decision really weird. Like, if you go with a buy-to-play model, and you have a battle pass, and you have customizations, like an item shop, I feel like the threshold might be a little bit too high. In my opinion, you should either go free-to-play with microtransactions, or buy-to-play and maybe minor microtransactions, like a battle pass, right? So you can keep continuing developing the game and covering development costs for new emerging content. But going buy to play, then adding a battle pass, and then also having an item shop for a new release, I don't know, man. I don't know. Lots of options out there for kids these days, and if the game released in its current state for $30, I don't know. I don't want to doom the game before it's out, but I feel like the business model is already a recipe for disaster. Too many good free options out there. Remember, Rocket League is also free, and a lot of people argue, well, Rocket League used to be $20 before it went free to play. And that might be true, but back when Rocket League came out, there were not really a lot of well, good free-to-play options out there. Nowadays, you look at Apex Legends, you look at Rocket League, you look at Fortnite, you look at Roblox, you look at all these free-to-play games that you don't have to spend a dime to play and try. And that, I feel like, I don't know, it's just weird to me that they went with this business model. I feel like you should go with one or the other. Either go free-to-play, add a battle pass, add an item shop, or go buy-to-play and then let the players add customizations and whatnot through playing the game. But doing both, I don't know. That seems very weird to me. Team Fortress 2 used to be pay-to-play, now it's free-to-play. Yeah. I mean, studies have shown that free-to-play is actually the more lucrative, if you have a good game, that is, right? Assuming you have a good game, free-to-play is actually the better business model because people just tend to spend more. It's just proven that people, otherwise companies wouldn't do it. Companies don't want you to play for free, but the only reason why someone is able to play for free, in quotation marks free, is because somebody else is spending like 3 times or 4 times the amount of money that they would have if the game would be buy to play. So let's say the game is $30, right? In order for you to be able to play it, the average guy will probably spend $60. So even if another person wouldn't spend a dime, the one person who has overspent, in quotation marks, is paying for the person who's not spending a dime. And that is why free-to-play models work. If no one would pay for anything in free-to-play models, those free-to-play games would die. It's not actually free. It's you not paying and playing for free means somebody else already paid for you by spending triple, quadruple amounts of money into the game. And I think what they have with Rematch is good enough to have a free-to-play model. And people definitely want to spend things in the game. I want to spend things in the game because when the game will be released, they're gonna add a Ronaldinho skin. Now, depending on how much the skin is, I would definitely pay for it. The issue is, if I have to pay for the game and the game is $30, then they add Ronaldinho for an additional $20, then I'm out. Like, you gotta go one way or the other. If you go free to play with Rematch and then Ronaldinho comes into the shop and it's $20, easy grab, easy grab. Just like on Fortnite. Fortnite's free to play. Occasionally, I cop one of those $20, $28 skins because the game's free to play, and you also like to, well, show a little bit of some, like, represent a little bit, show a little bit of love and support the developers if the game is good. And Rematch is good, but doing both, I think, is a terrible mistake. And just based on like experience on how other games did it in the past, this game will go free to play eventually. It will probably stay, like, it will have a huge player base at launch, and it will decline, it will decline, it will decline to a point where it will eventually go free to play. I think that is inevitable. I think maybe the Rematch people already know this, and that is why they are starting off with buy to play, like a lower buy to play price, because they know somewhere along the line they will go free to play anyways. That's probably why they already have an item shop and a battle pass in place. They're probably, maybe they went into development knowing that it's going to be free to play, and then some executive was like, you know what? Let's make it buy to play first. See how much we can sell and then go free to play. I feel like if a game costs money, you would use game money, but free to play, you'd use real money. Exactly. Exactly. But still, I had a lot of fun, and I'm not gonna buy the game on release just because of those things that I've mentioned. The game still has a ton of issues, and I'm not gonna spend $30 for a beta. The game is still in beta, and it still feels like a beta, and I doubt that they're gonna fix all the issues in 3 weeks. 3 weeks from now. Yeah, I'm tired of unfinished releases. The game doesn't even have like a story mode or anything like that. There's no single player. There's a tutorial, there's free play where you can practice a little bit, and then there's online. It's completely online. It's an online game. So I'm not gonna pay $30 to be a beta tester. No shot. No shot. I'm so done at companies doing this. Yes, this is a smaller indie company, but in its current state, if the game releases in its current state, I'm not gonna pay for it because it's not finished yet. It's not a finished product. In 3 weeks, I'll be off school. That's awesome. June's gonna unfortunately be a little bit rough for me in terms of just work. Lots of projects ahead. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Maybe I have to opt more into offline content, but the problem with offline content is it also takes me a ton of time recording because I have ADHD, and my ADHD brain is just forcing me to repeat sentences until they are perfect. And then also editing the footage takes a lot of time, so best I can do is probably 1 video per week. I don't know. I'll try my best to keep the Sunday streams, because I think people are still looking forward to those. But during the week, I doubt that will be something going forward that I'll be doing. I know I am. I know you do. And I appreciate that. I'm also like sorry for all the people who can never really make it to the streams and watch the VODs. I appreciate you guys too. Don't worry, I see you. I mean, I don't physically see you, but I appreciate you watching the VODs, and I hope the chaptering is helping a little bit. But yeah, I just see no future for me when it comes to like streaming. Did you say you were gonna play that game today? Which one? You know what's funny? A couple of months ago, maybe it was even last year, I don't remember. It's been definitely more than 5 or 6 months. Maybe even longer than that. I don't know. But at some point, when we were still multi-streaming, so I don't know when that was. Probably last year, sometime last year. But I definitely was still on Twitch at that point. I was, I applied for something called the Creator Club, which is basically a role that Twitch will give you, and then also invite you to a Discord server where a lot of people in the same club, so to speak, like a book club, can meet up, can collab with each other, can share thoughts and just their experience with each other, and basically grow together a little bit. And I applied for the Vtuber club because there are different clubs. There's the music club, and now recently they added the food and something else club. So it's a bunch of creators who specialize in a certain category, you could say. So I applied for the Vtuber club, and I forgot about it because it's been months. Once again, it's like sometime last year I applied, forgot about it completely. And then last week I got the email that I finally got in. I'm like, shit, I don't even stream on Twitch anymore. But I still accepted the invite, so now I'm part of the Discord server, official Discord server of the Creator Club, and I'm part of the Vtuber Creator Club, which is awesome because now, like, it's technically easier to form like relationships and collaborations, start collaborations, Because in my club, the Vtuber club, it's just filled with Vtubers. But yeah, we don't really stream on Twitch anymore, which is definitely a requirement to be in one of those clubs. So I don't know. I have so many thoughts about like the channel, maybe like going back to multi-streaming, because Twitch is adding a bunch of pretty awesome shit, which I want to show you in a second. But maybe a couple of things before we go more into channel-related stuff and Twitch and live streaming and the month of June, etc., etc. Yesterday was the Champions League final. I missed the mark a little bit, the segue to talk about the Champions League when I was talking about a rematch, but there's not really a lot to talk about, other than it was probably the worst. The worst yeah, I can definitely say that. The worst final I've seen. Or the worst Champions League final, not the worst final. It was 100% the worst Champions League final I've seen, which was kind of nice because I had people over, so like we had pizza, we had hot dogs, we had a bunch of beer. So lots of like cool conversation. We did not really have to pay attention to the game because the game ended 5-0 for Paris Saint-Germain. Paris, who is being coached by Luis Enrique, who used to be the former Barcelona trainer, and they basically played like Barcelona. That wasn't PSG. That was Barcelona, basically, with a new skin. And they completely... It was so one-sided. They had like 90% possession of the ball, which is very typical for Luis Enrique and the way he plays. It's like one-touch football and just always passing the ball. Passing the ball, and then look for an opening, and then try to score. And they played it to perfection, and it was such a boring, in quotation mark, boring game, because Inter Milan did not even fight back. After the second goal, they scored 2 goals in the first half. You could like see it in their faces, not just the faces of the fans, but you could see it in the faces of the players of Inter Milan. They gave up, literally. They had plenty of chances to come back from two-point deficient. I'm missing a word. Like PSG was leading with 2 goals, and 2 goals is not a lot if you still have an entire half to play. And then they tried sometimes, like with 1 or 2 attacks, and then PSG came back, scored a 3rd goal, and you could like literally see after the 3rd goal, some players were about to cry. Some players that were actively playing on the field were about to cry. So you could tell it from just their mentality or their body language that they already gave up at that point. They gave up. So the 4th goal and 5th goal cannot even be counted, because in the 4th and 5th goal, the defenders, and I kid you not, they were not even running anymore. They did not defend properly. They literally gave up. In the Champions League final, this is like one of the biggest stages for a player. Every player wants to win the Champions League. It's like the highest trophy you can get with your club. Apart from the World Cup. It's the World Cup, the most desirable trophy, I would say, for a player is definitely the World Cup. And then the second best is the Champions League. It's not even the European Champions League. Nobody gives a damn about that. It's World Cup and then Champions League. World Cup on an international stage because you're playing for your country. And the Champions League is basically the World Cup for clubs. And that, once again, I've never seen a club just in the finals, being in the finals, and just giving up. They gave up. So, yeah, the final was very boring. I don't know what to tell you. It was just very boring. Completely one-sided. You saw Paris Saint-Germain play for 90 minutes. You know what's funny? The goalkeeper, Donnarumma from PSG, had like 1 action in the second half. So Inter Milan had like 1 attack in the second half where Donnarumma, the goalkeeper of PSG, had to act. And that's it. So basically, the entire final, the goalkeeper of PSG was standing around pretty much for 90 minutes. He had like 4 contacts maybe in the entire game. Easiest final ever. Once again, it's like the worst case scenario for a sports fan or a football fan in general, because you want the final to be like the pinnacle of the sports, right? 2 teams clashing. It's just one game. It's not like 7 games like in basketball. It's one game. It's do or die. And usually in most finals, in like 99% of the finals, it's gonna be a mud fight. It's gonna be dirty, very physical. It's gonna come down to like 1 or 2 actions, individual actions from very good players. This wasn't it. This felt like a practice game. It was so boring, once again. So, like, PSG was so dominating. And that's probably why these fans from Inter Milan were crying, because, like, their team did not even fight, dude. It's like, they spent, I don't know how many hundreds for a ticket to watch the final in Munich. And then they come into the stadium. And their team is just giving up after the first 12 minutes. And that was terrible. Just very terrible. Inter is a disgrace to football, bro. Very boring, I'm telling you. Yeah. That was very sad. Very sad final. Okay, but that was the football part. I'm just listening with no idea because I don't watch sports. It's fine. It's fine. You did not miss anything when it comes to that Champions League final. I hope for the basketball fans that the NBA final is going to be a little bit better than that. But man, that was such a... Talk about climax, dude. That was just the opposite of the climax, like an anti-climax. That was like the worst game I've seen in the Champions League. The semifinals were so good. They were so intense. The final was the worst one out of the KO round, the knockout round. Okay, now transitioning to Twitch. And the stuff they have announced on TwitchCon, which is very cool. But we already knew that. It's not like it's a mystery that Twitch is miles ahead of YouTube when it comes to live streaming features. And I always said that Twitch is definitely superior and the better platform when it comes to live streaming. But on the other side, you have YouTube, which is definitely better when it comes to the algorithm and then being able to create chapters for your streams and make it more watchable. And also the fact that it will be stored forever, because on Twitch, if you're an affiliate, they will remove your VODs after like 3 months. I don't know if they changed that by now, because I haven't streamed on Twitch for a while, but it's just that if you don't create highlights or if you don't download your VODs, you can just lose a lot of memorable moments of your streaming career. And that kind of sucks. At least on YouTube, I know that we can just look back on stuff. 5 years from now, we can look back on today's stream, for example, because it will be stored as a VOD. Unless YouTube goes in a different direction, or in the same direction as Twitch, and at some point, maybe YouTube will put restrictions on VODs that are longer than 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours. I hope that won't happen, but it might. Who knows? For now, you can store your streams forever on YouTube, and it has a better algorithm, or it has an algorithm. Twitch doesn't even have an algorithm. It has an algorithm. It could technically help smaller streamers grow. And you don't have these kinds of things on Twitch. However, Twitch is just better in everything else. Let's go over it. There are a bunch of cool things that they're going to add when it comes to streaming. Mobile gets a makeover. We'll be rolling out dual format streaming and vertical viewing later this year. Stream in horizontal and vertical at the same time, so your stream works for both desktop and iHearts and phone scrollers. No more sideways necks, which is really cool. And they also want to add a feature where you can swap on the go, basically. So you can go from horizontal viewing to vertical viewing by just flipping your phone, which is really, really, really cool. That's probably my favorite feature, because then you can basically serve both audiences, the vertical TikTok audience and the traditional horizontal audience. And if they can just do it by flipping their phones, that's pretty cool. That's definitely a feature that I envy Twitch streamers to have. And then there is 2K streaming. Okay, I don't care about that. Combo, new hype train. Say hello to Combo. Bit-powered reactions to erupt on screen as viewers rally together. Okay, I don't really care about that. This one is also pretty cool. This one is really cool. Coming soon, streamers can launch their own gift sub promotions. Pet anniversary, Cat's birthday, Horror Night, run it. That is really cool. You know how sometimes Twitch has like 30% off of subs because of, I don't know, what was it called? September? Yeah, usually they do it on September, where in September, where subs are 30% off or 50% off. And apparently you'll be able to do it now for certain days on your own. You can just give your viewers or your potential viewers 30% off on subs. Now, I don't know how exactly they will implement that. Maybe it's that the whatever discount you're giving will be taken off of your end, because usually Twitch takes 50%, right? So if you give 30% off, maybe that will be just from your end and not from Twitch's side. I don't know how they will implement that, but I still think it's a cool feature. Okay, better clip flow, which is also pretty nice. You know, in the past, when you try to create a clip on Twitch, it will basically just bring you to a new window, and then you won't be able to see like the original stream anymore. And that, I guess, gets a little bit less invasive or interruptive, where you can just clip something while the live stream is still currently running. That's pretty cool. Clip without leaving the stream, auto-suggested clips, clip leaderboards and badges. Also, watching clips will count towards watch streaks, which is cool. And then the rewind is coming. Something that I always said YouTube had an edge on Twitch, because you can just rewind. You can leave the stream, you can go to the bathroom, watch what you've been missing, and then just go to the live moment. And they finally are doing it. After so many years, after so many requests, Twitch is finally doing the rewind option. But there's a caveat to it. But, a big but. Only for paid customers. This is only for people who have subscribed. So it's behind a paywall. It's there, but it's behind a paywall. So if you're not a subscriber, I don't know if you have to be a Vtuber subscriber or just a subscriber to the channel. I'm not exactly sure, but it's definitely behind a paywall, so it's not free. This is not a free feature. If you don't subscribe to a channel, you cannot access the rewind function, which is dumb. Like, finally, after so many years of people requesting this, they've done it, but they've done it in the worst possible way. Why put this behind a paywall? Collabs new mobile friendly. Mod love unlocked. Mods now get mod view on Android and a private Discord club just for mods. That's pretty cool. That's a wrap. Okay. Oh, and also affiliates will have the requirements for affiliates was reduced. Used to be 3 concurrent viewers on average over 30 days. Now it's 3 concurrent viewers on average and on 4 days. Stream 7 days to stream 4 days. Stream 8 hours to stream 4 hours. Have at least 50 followers to have at least 25 followers. I think that is awesome. Because affiliates will unlock things that I feel like are essential to community building, like emotes, custom emotes, being able to subscribe to a channel. I don't think there should be any like requirements, because I feel like they're so essential to community building, like having emotes and whatnot. But it's nice to see that they've reduced the requirements. In my opinion, they can just get rid of the requirements in general. Same with YouTube. I think it's kind of stupid to be like, hey, you want to be a partner, you want to be able to build a community as a live streamer on YouTube, but you need at least 1,000 subscribers and 3,000 watch hours, and you need to be able to do that like in the next 12 months, within 12 months. And if you don't, well, you can stream on our platform, but we won't offer any live streaming features. Your community cannot subscribe to you. Your community cannot access any emotes from your channel. You're welcome. That's YouTube streaming. Offer basically nothing. So you can build. Community building is a lot more than just watching a streamer. It's also having like inside jokes and having community-based emotes so they can represent and shit like that. So yeah, it's kind of weird that they put stuff like that behind a grind or requirements, because it's not like the platform will lose out on something if people start paying for subscriptions on a streamer's channel. Like, I don't understand the requirements at all. I really want to try streaming, but I'm waiting till the 11th because that's my 4-year anniversary. I'll try on the 11th. That's pretty cool. You should give it a try. You should definitely give it a try and see if you like it or not. But also don't give up too soon. Like, if you start streaming and you realize not a lot of people are watching, that's completely normal. And it will also take a lot of time for you to get used to it. So don't give up too soon. But also don't do it too long. Like, don't do it like I did. I definitely been streaming for too long. The same way, I would say. And that's also not good. Great, those were the Twitch features. Pretty cool features. But once again, it's not a surprise that Twitch is just better than YouTube for live streaming. And it's now even better. It's now even better. I hope these types of announcements will make YouTube go, you know what? We're gonna add something to our live streamers as well. That would be nice. That would be my dream. But right now, YouTube is just focused on shorts and adding more features. Like AI features, dubbing. I've seen a video, was it yesterday or the day before that? Which had like a new a feature where you could use choose a dub. So it was a German video that I watched, and you were able to basically use an English dub, and the English dub was like AI translation, which translated. So that's the stuff that YouTube is currently adding. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. That's pretty much it for the news I had. No, there was actually one more thing that we can take a look at. And then I'm out of news. I did not really browse Twitter a lot this week. So usually I have a ton of things to show on Twitter that I like throughout the week. But this week I did not really like anything other than a bunch of cat videos. Also, not a lot of things happen when it comes to like streaming or gaming. The release of Elden Ring Night something, was it Night Rain? So that came out, but I haven't watched anyone play it yet. It's like the battle royale for like Dark Souls, the Dark Souls battle royale. I haven't watched a single video yet. So yeah, that's like major news when it comes to gaming. That game came out. That's pretty much it. I have stuff to yap about too. Well, go ahead. You don't have to wait for my segments to end. I mean, if it's, you know, like waiting for the topic to end, yes. But if you have something to say during the topic, go ahead. I'm gonna, in the meantime, I'm gonna open the trailer for the second season of One Piece. Or not the second season of One Piece, but something that will happen in the second season of One Piece. And something people were very curious about and were waiting on. And they finally released it. And I'm very happy with the outcome. But you go first. So I watched someone named Serge BT, and like he said, I was cool. And like he wanted to talk to me because I made a cosplay of him, but threw it away by accident. Well, that's cool. How do you throw something like a cosplay away by accident? Hello, Mari. Hello. I finally woke up. Welcome. How are you doing today? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I burned through most of the topics already, but there's one thing. I think you know my name now, but that's fine. I don't understand. I don't follow. Oh! Oh, wait a second. Oh, I see it now. If you wouldn't have mentioned it, I wouldn't have Beansy. I can try and delete the... Mari, can you delete the message? I swear I wouldn't have noticed. But if you could delete the message, that would be nice. I can try and cut that out from the VOD, if possible. It's not your government name. Okay. Okay. We don't want to dox anyone here. That's why I was a little bit concerned. Okay. I called with my friend for 14 hours. That's crazy. That's not a call anymore. That's a live stream. That's a live stream marathon. I forgot your government name. Good. We don't want to use government names here. Don't dox yourself. Internet is a very nasty place. Don't trust anyone. Trust nobody. Alright, let's take a look at, well, how Tony Chopper, the best doctor in the world, will look like in the One Piece live action in Season 2. As you know, if you followed One Piece, Season 2 is when they pick up Chopper, their next crewmate, and everyone was like speculating, everyone was a little bit afraid, how is it gonna look like? Because there were speculations, rumors that they might use a human to play him. Like an actual human, not CGI human using motion capture stuff. So people were afraid. People were like, oh, don't mess that up, because Chopper is such an essential part of the crew. He's like the heart of the crew. So people were a little bit afraid that they're gonna mess it up. But I'm happy to announce, spoiler alert, they did not mess it up. Let's take a look. It's the scene starts off as such a cute thing. You gotta look at it. It's typical Chopper.
Chopper, you're hiding the wrong way. We can all see you. Chopper, come out.
Hi, Tadoom. My name is Tony Chopper, and I'm sorry I
He's
can't
so
meet
cute.
in person, but... Oh, I'm supposed to tell you about One Piece Season 2. Oh, Someone call a doctor. Oh, wait. I am a doctor.
Come on, Chopper. You can do it.
Oh, okay. One Piece season 2 is coming in 2026.
The way he also stood up from the ground, that's Chopper.
2026.
They did
And
such a good job with
Okay,
this.
One Piece season 2 is coming in 2026, and you'll get to meet new friends and foes, and me.
You did it, Chopper. Everyone, give him a hand.
Wait, is it over? Shut up! I don't need your clapping. You jerks. I mean it.
He's so shy, but he also loves the attention. Yeah, good job. Good job. This is how you should be doing live action. True to the original. And I don't think, like, a lot of people are saying, he kind of looks weird and stuff like that. I don't think there's a better way to do Chopper, to be honest, in, like, CGI. They went with the Sonic style. I don't know if you watched the Sonic movies. Maybe it's the same team who worked on Sonic, and I think it worked pretty well for Sonic. And I think he looks fine. I wonder how he will look with the transformations. Yeah, I think they nailed it. I don't think they could have gone in a better, like, more realistic would be probably too, like, Uncanny Valley style, a little bit less realistic, more cartoony, would have not looked the right way in the same universe, in the same live action universe. I think they found the perfect middle ground of, like, realistic but also still cartoony, right? Not Uncanny Valley, and he's cute. I like him. But this scene, this is so Chopper. Oh man, yeah, they nailed it. I'm happy with it. I hope One Piece fans are happy with it too. I haven't seen the reaction of it yet, but we all know that, like, One Piece fans in general, or just anime fans in general, can be very harsh. I don't know what the general consensus is and if people are happy or not. Let's check the comments. Studios are starting to understand how live action should be done. Okay, that's positive. Can't wait to see Luffy and Sanji chasing their emergency food. Chopper looks so freaking adorable. Okay, that's very positive. Very, very positive. Chopper, he's perfect. Voice a little bit weird, but perfect. Can't wait to see Robin and Vivi. They did a fantastic job on Chopper, especially how he accepts compliments. I agree. Not gonna lie, guys, Tony Chopper actually looks so cute in live action. Dude, the reception is great. Maybe I was wrong to expect the opposite. I kind of thought that people might be extremely harsh on the looks, but it seems like the majority likes it, and I like it too. So that's cool. I love Sonic so much. Yeah. And anyway, I thought Chopper would be like Gus from Sweet Tooth, so did my sister. Wait, be right back. Okay. Yeah, Chopper is like the goofball in the show, but he can definitely also be serious. He can transform his. You will see. You will see. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, Chopper is really cool, and I just love that they went with CGI instead of just having like a little human with, I don't know, with a costume play him. Choppy? Did I say Choppy? I meant Chopper. I wonder if there's a German version for this, because I watched the live action. The live action show is probably the only show that I prefer in German, because in the live action, the voices are, you get the voices from the people playing the characters. And in the German dub, you get the people who actually voice the One Piece characters in the anime. So in the German dub, and even I think the Japanese dub, you get the original voice actors from the anime. But in the English version, you get the voices from the people who play the characters in the live action show. So you don't get to hear the same voices as in the English version of the anime, which I kind of felt like was a little bit bad for my ears, because I'm not used to it. I'm not used to hearing the the English voice line, so either Japanese or either German. So I went with German, and it fits so well. So I wonder if there's a German Chopper live action German dub. Oh yeah.
Chopper, you're hiding the wrong way.
That's not German. Oh, it just says German subtitles. Okay. All right. Chopper's debut.
Chopper, you're hiding the wrong.
Okay, it's all English. That's fine. That's fine. But maybe I can show you One Piece live action German.
Du spürst den Wind im Rücken. Kurs auf die Grand Line.
Ein tückischer Ozeanabschnitt mit mächtigeren Inseln, mächtigeren Piraten.
So these voices you hear are the same as in the German anime. All right, but that was that. That was that. Season 2 is coming. Season 2 is coming in 2026. Nice. The one thing I don't like about the live action show is that the showrunner left. The showrunner was a diehard One Piece fan. Welcome back, by the way. Welcome back. Welcome back, Mari. The showrunner was a hardcore One Piece fan, and he knew everything. He knew everything about the source material. He was in constant, he was always communicating with Ichiro Oda when he made changes to the show, because the show is a lot, more concise than the anime. So they have to rush things, or they have to change things that took a little bit longer in the anime. And he always does that with the approval of Ichiro Oda. And he has left the show after season 2. So I wonder why. Usually that's not a good sign. That's never a good sign when the showrunner disappears. Most of the time it's corporate not being happy. Maybe he did things too detailed, and corporate was like, you know what? We need to be more efficient. We need to make money. Screw you. That's what I feel like. I don't know the exact reason, but I feel like that is what happened. Because why else? He was the perfect showrunner. Why else would you fire him or let him go? Maybe there's not going to be a season 3. I don't know. We'll see. But season 1 was fantastic. It is, to this day, the best live action anime I've ever seen. I don't know, me Mexicana? What could have possibly happened? I do not know. I just assumed that he was too detailed for the executives. That's my assumption. I have no proof. I don't know what happened. But since I watched interviews with the showrunner, and you could definitely tell he read every manga page probably 4 times. He knows his One Piece stuff. He knows everything. And that might have been a little bit too much for the executives. Maybe too much detail. Too many shots. Every shoot costs money. Every day on set costs money. And maybe he just took too long because he wanted to do it well. I don't know. That's my assumption. Or maybe he went on his own volition. We don't know. Maybe he was like, you know what? I don't want to cast and direct season 3 anymore. Maybe we can look it up. What? Why did it leave? One Piece showrunner left. As for Matt Owens, he mentioned in his Instagram post that he hopes to come back refreshed for the new adventures that await. Whether that means a return to One Piece or to other creative projects remains to be seen, but for now, he's more than earned his break, and while his departure marks the end of a chapter, it may also be what the series needs to keep growing. So he's taking a break? That seems weird. Are they gonna animate 1,000 episodes? I mean, yes, but they're gonna rush through it. It's like a director's cut almost. So season 1 had everything up until the point they went to they departure to the Grand Line. So at the end of season 1, Usopp, Zoro, Nami, and Luffy and Sanji headed to the Grand Line. And in season 2, it's probably gonna be all of like the Alabasta season, the Alabasta arc with Crocodile. They already teased Crocodile. I don't know if it's gonna be all, but as I said, it's like a very concised and rushed, not even rushed, but a very concised version of One Piece. So 1,000 episodes will probably, when they keep up with the pace, will probably take them 10 seasons. Maybe even less than that. Maybe like 8 seasons. Yeah, they're cutting out all the fillers. They just skipped certain things that would happen like way later in the anime, like Luffy meeting Garp, his grandfather, in the show, like the big reveal that Garp is actually Luffy's grandfather, or the one that took him in. Those things happen way, way, way faster in the show than they happened in the anime. Yeah, I might start watching One Piece again. But currently I'm not really keen to like watching like anything, to be honest. I watch old stuff. I watch a little bit of sports. And that's it. I started one time. Story of my life. I started and stopped One Piece so many times. Once I saw the episodes, I stopped. There's going to be like a shorter version, just like the live action basically, coming out on Netflix. I don't know when they're gonna start, but there's basically gonna be a director's cut for the people who don't want to go through 1,000 episodes. I watched, but I didn't like it, so I stopped. I mean, the only thing that I do not really like, there are like 2 major gripes I have with One Piece. One is that nobody ever really dies. I mean, some people do, no spoilers, but it's like if you watch like 1,000 episodes of just fights and nobody dying, I feel like drama needs a little bit of death. That's the one thing I have an issue with, and the other is just the pacing. I think it's very slow when it comes to telling the story. It's very slow. You should watch Final Destination. The new one? I haven't watched the new one yet. Final Destination. I've seen the trailer of the new one. I've watched the first 3. I don't know if they made more than 3. I watched the first 3. I think the first one was by far the most terrifying, which also amplified my fear of flying, by the way, because there's a scene at the beginning of Final Destination 1, or is it 2? I think it's 1, which was so horroring that I just once again it amplified my fear of flights and planes. It's the scene where the French class is about to leave for France, and one of the main characters gets this flashback that the plane is 1. Oh, okay. He gets like a flash, or like not a flashback, but a vision that the plane is about to explode. So he wakes up from that vision, or the nightmare, as people tell him, and the things that happen in his nightmare actually happen. So there's like a knob that is broken in his vision, in his nightmare, and then he wakes up from his nightmare or his vision, and then he checks the knob is broken, just like in his nightmare. So he starts freaking out. And because of his freak out, yeah, he starts screaming. Because of his freak out, a bunch of other classmates of him try to calm him down. His teacher tries to calm him down, and then the flight attendant says, "Hey, you gotta get off the plane. Fuck off. You're causing a scene. It's not good." And then they watch the plane go up, and then his friend is telling him, like his classmate is telling him, "Great. Because of you, we missed a fantastic opportunity to meet Franz." And then, boom, the plane explodes. That scene, once again, that scene is still so vivid in my mind. It's terrible. I watched a few episodes of Devil May Cry, the anime, not the game. I've heard the anime of Devil May Cry is supposed to be very good. I mean, the games are nice. I haven't watched the anime. Yeah, that Final Destination scene is just...
I am so sorry, but I bursted out laughing cause you said creaming, crying face emoji, double exclamation mark emoji.
Did I? I meant screaming. I'm currently chewing chewing gum. I don't know if you hear it. That's why some of the letters get a little bit swallowed. I meant screaming. Yeah, great movies. They're very trashy, but they're fun to watch. And the third one I watched, I think I told that story before, but the third Final Destination, was like a interactive movie. It was I got it on DVD, and in the DVD you could basically, they prepared 2 outcomes for each scene, and the DVD at some point would ask you, do you want to go like left, like for example the roller coaster ride in Final Destination 3, there's like a roller coaster ride, and you could decide basically at some point the DVD would ask you, hey, do you want to do this or do you want to do that? And depending on your decision, whether you went with left or right, some things happened in the movie. So they basically prepared like 2 different outcomes and showed you the movie from one outcome and or the other, which was really cool. Back then was really cool. So it was almost like an interactive movie. Alrighty. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, maybe? Because I burned through my topics very fast today. I'm a news anchor with no news. Just an anchor now. Yeah, maybe we should talk a little bit about June. Do you know K-pop? Yes. I do know K-pop, but I don't listen to it. Not that I hate it, not that I dislike it. I just did not really, when all the K-pop emerged, I did not ride the wave, and now I feel like I'm very like indifferent. Like I don't feel like I missed out. I don't hate it. it's just it exists in a realm, and I'm not part of that realm. Do you know Twice? I love Twice. I could listen to it for hours. No, I don't. Is Twice a group, a K-pop group, or is it a song from a K-pop group? Like I do know some K-pop. Obviously, BTS and all of that, because that at some point you were not able to not see them, right, or to not listen to K-pop, because it became like a worldwide phenomenon. So I know a bunch of songs, but I don't follow it. Like, I would lie to you if I would be like, hey, this is my favorite K-pop group, or this is my favorite K-pop song. It just went through my, like, into, like, from one ear in, from one ear out from the other. But also do not dislike it. Like, it's just good music. Oh, it's a group, 9 members. I think, to be honest, I think it's super funny that K-pop emerged the way it did, because when I was growing up in the like early 2000s, boy groups and girl groups were like huge as well, and then they disappeared for a while, like weird stuff like NSYNC and Boys to Men and Destiny's Child and Spice Girls, the big ones, Backstreet Boys. Like, at some point those were huge, and then they disappeared for a while, and they kind of came back with K-pop. That's really cool, because it shows that some things will just never die. They will just re-emerge in a different with a different look. As our channel, look at us 5 years back. Different look, different appearance, yet still the same appeal. Lu Fei is also one of my favorite artists. Tough Luck is fire. I wish I could add some commentary to that, Mari. But I believe you. If you think it's fire, it's probably fire. I wish I could give a little bit of expertise in that regard. Say it as leve. Leve. It's like jazz. Cool. I love jazz. Background music we're currently listening to is very jazzy. Jazz is also something you cannot get tired of, which is very pleasing to your ears. There's something I wanted to say, I forgot. Oh yeah, June. I'm pretty sure you've heard of her, like from the start. Or Promise. I'm pretty sure I've heard of her too. But it's like with all the K-pop groups and bands and songs, I cannot point to any of them. Like, if you would show me a song, I would be like, yeah, I know this, but I wouldn't be able to tell you who's singing, which group she belongs to, or he. That's the thing. It's not K-pop, it's one artist? Okay, I didn't know, because we're talking about K-pop, so I assumed it's a K-pop group. My bad. No, that's my fault. What's everyone's favorite genre? Music genre? Do you have a favorite? It's okay to not have one. You can listen to everything. Jazz. Okay. That's pretty... I would say that's like very uncommon in 2025, right? Jazz, I would say, even though it still exists and new artists emerge daily, I would say it's still like some of something that the older crowd likes, usually. I don't really care. Indie rock, indie metal, alternative. Good choices. I just find a song I like and add it to my playlist. That's very cool. I definitely have my phases where I like go all in on one genre and then listen to that genre until I cannot listen to it anymore, and then I seek out something else. Generally speaking, I like to listen to all of like music. I don't think there is a genre that, let me just say it like that. If I'm in the car with someone and I'm not the driver, so I don't control the radio, and they open death metal, which I usually don't listen to, I wouldn't mind. Like there's no type of genre or song that makes me go, hey, just go to the next song. If you want to listen to it, you can listen to it. I'm not gonna refuse it. Music is music. Unless it's like super experimental. There's some experimental things like people only screaming. There's no music. There's just maybe one drum. Boom, boom, and people just screaming. Like there's some like extreme experimental shit. Like that's definitely something I don't like. But if it has rhythm, I usually like it. I love Megadeth. I have 3,000 songs on my playlist. That's crazy. I'm very selective when I make playlists. Very, very selective. Maybe that's because I used to have a MP3 player. I told that story before, but back when MP3 players were cool and also necessary, I had an MP3 player from Sony with, I think it was 512 megabytes. I might be lying here. I don't know. But it was a lot around that ballpark. And the only way to put music onto that thing was via an USB stick. So it basically looked like a USB stick with a digital display. That's how my Sony MP3 player looked like. And at some point, and that's probably something that engineers of Sony did not really think about, the USB part just broke away. It broke. So I was stuck with the music that was on that MP3 player forever. And I listened to the same ass playlist on my way to school with the same ass MP3 player for probably 2 years. I memorized every song. I memorized the order of every song. So for example, when I listened to Hit 'Em Up from Tupac, for example, I knew that Nas will come next. So I memorized all the songs. I memorized the order of the songs. But it was like, I had no other option. So I ran with it for two years. It was still fun though. Good times. My sister gave me her MP3 player with music from like Britney Spears or something. It's so funny that you say Britney Spears or something when Britney Spears was a mega star. She was like Taylor Swift levels around the time when I grew up. But now she's just a name. That's just getting older. Britney Spears was huge. Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, those names, they were like huge. I have it in a drawer. I know for a fact that there's Britney Spears in an MP3 player. Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't there? If it's from your older sister, Mari, that you wouldn't be able to avoid Britney Spears during like the early 2000s. There's just some artists that were playing on the radio on a daily basis, and everyone had them in a playlist. I can't remember what other artist. I would assume if she was listening to Britney Spears, she was probably also listening to Christina Aguilera. although those two had beef, I never really understood the beef between them. But I think there were like two camps, like also like fan camps. There were like the Britney Spears fans and then the Christina Aguilera fans, and they were beefing with each other. I'm not exactly sure why. I wasn't a fan of those, but I still remember that they were definitely like beefing. I mean, I urge everyone. I got a Stormbringer cookie. Congrats. I don't know what it does. I urge everyone to go back to older playlists from the early 2000s. Because that music slaps. It's still dope. I think it's objectively the better music if you compare it to music nowadays. I think objectively speaking, at least for rap, I cannot maybe say it for the other genres. No, I can definitely say it for other genres as well. Like even something like indie rock and pop, I think was just better, objectively speaking, better. Katy Perry was late. I wouldn't put Katy Perry in the same category as like Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears. Katy Perry was definitely later. Katy Perry was like 2008-ish, I believe. I don't know. Rap is one of my least favorite. I'm not sure. I mean, to each their own. Once again, I'm not gonna point the finger at anyone and be like, why don't you like rap? If you don't like rap, you don't like rap. It is what it is. I enjoy rap a lot, but I'm more on the lyricist side. So I like deeper, conscious rap, you call it. But people don't like conscious rap anymore. That's a little bit sad. Like people who tell a story with their songs. Maybe even portray a little bit of like morality and like guilty conscience. Like there's a fantastic song from Nas, for example, where he talks or raps from a perspective of a gun. I forgot the name of the song, but it's basically he's personifying a gun. So he raps from the perspective of a gun, that he feels guilty for killing people, that he's rotting in a shelf now because he's not been used in a while, not being cleaned in a while. And that's the type of rap that I really like. Things that really make you think and maybe even give you a little bit of advice in life. Songs that uplift you. That's the type of rap I love. It depends. It depends what rap. Yeah, I mean, the rap genre is big now. ICP? Who's that? I might be a little bit out of touch. If it's a new rap group or a rap song or rap artist, I'm a bit out of the loop with the new stuff, with the 2025 stuff. Insane Clown Posse. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Yeah, but music is very, once again, it's like flavors. It's flavors. Some people like mango, others don't. And the same is the case with music. I think there's a perfect genre or the perfect taste of music for everyone. Alrighty, should we wrap it up for today? Our 11th Just Yapping stream. I want to talk a little bit about June, but I don't know if I should talk about June because every time I talk about things that might or might not happen, they will not happen. So maybe I should just shut my mouth. I was planning on doing a little bit of like playing a cat game, because 12 months ago my cat passed away, so I promised back then that I would use June, which would be the birthday month of my cat. He passed away like 2 weeks before his 15th birthday. That I would use June from now on to play a cat game. And there's some cat game options that we have. One is a little bit like Dark Souls, called 9 Souls, which looks really cool. But I don't know about like implementation right now, and I don't know. Like you probably heard me talk about it in the Claire Obscure stream, the last one we had. That I'm currently a little bit conflicted about what to do with the channel. Like it's not like I'm running out of creative juice, it's more like I'm running out of time and execution juice. And that can be very frustrating sometimes. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh no, don't worry about it. Like I'm not actively mourning anymore, so I'm definitely over that. And when I look back at the life of my cat, I'm definitely I definitely have lots and lots of good memories in my mind, and we spent 15 years together, 15 great years. Still sad, like I still miss him. Don't get me wrong, because the apartment has been very silent lately. But I think we had like 15 fantastic years. I would say almost 15, because he passed away 2 weeks before his 15th birthday. So it was like 14 years, 11 months, and 2 weeks. You could also try another game called Big City, Small Kitty. I already played through that. I 100%ed it. But I did that back on Twitch. Yeah, I played through the entire thing. It was a very cute game. And I completed all the side missions. Got all the hats. I also played Stray, which was probably the best cat game to date. I forgot, but I'm pretty sure it's the name. There's also a cat game called Spirit, I think. Spirit? I don't know. It was Stray? Oh yeah, I played through Stray as well. The thing is, I played them back on Twitch, so there's no evidence of it left. That's what I was saying at the beginning of the stream, that even though Twitch is the way better live streaming platform, if you have like nice playthroughs and nice memories, they might disappear. And Stray is one of them. We had a ton of fun playing Stray. Now that memory's gone. Because that live stream doesn't exist anymore. It was deleted from the service. Yeah. Once again, I don't know, like June is definitely the cat month, the month where we will celebrate Zimbi's life, but there's just a lot of question marks that I have regarding this channel. I don't try to be like all gloomy, doomy, and I don't want to make people think like, oh shit, the channel's life is ending, or the channel is ending. It's just that I think we can all agree that the way I'm currently streaming or doing content creation is just not sustainable, and it's just not working, and I need to find other solutions. Maybe less streams. Maybe we'll have the Just Chatting stream every Sunday, and everything else will just be offline recordings. I don't know. I don't have the answers yet. that is also why I wasn't really streaming this week, because I don't think it makes a lot of sense continuing the way I'm currently doing things. And that is the way it goes. Thank you so much for watching. Cloudy, Beansy, and Mari, thank you so much for being here, spending your Sunday with me. My Sunday is almost over. It's 11 p.m. And I'll head to bed now. You could also try streaming on TT. What is TT? Oh, TikTok. There's an issue with streaming on TikTok. TikTok is heavily geo-targeted. So if I would go live on TikTok without using a VPN, TikTok will only show Germans my live stream. Same with YouTube Shorts, by the way. And I cannot, my VPN that I have is not strong enough for live streaming. So I cannot just turn on the VPN and then go live. That's not possible because upload time is very slow. So if I would be live streaming to TikTok, I would be live streaming to a German audience exclusively. Because that's just how the algorithm works. And I've tested it before anyone is trying to say, oh, it's just rumors, or it's not. Like, I have like empirical evidence for that. Empirical evidence. I've tested it so many times. Uploading shorts without VPN, and my audience, or the people who were shown the shorts in the feed, were 100% German. 100%. And then I turned on the VPN, uploaded the same TikTok, boom, all of a sudden, American viewers. So, yeah, going live vertically on either TikTok or YouTube Shorts, that would just be me going live to a German audience. And going live on Twitch simultaneously, I don't know. Yeah, I tried that before as well, and I feel like we're spreading ourselves a little bit too thin. Plus the Twitch, the Twitch live streaming part or section is so much better that it would create a little bit of conflict, I feel like, because which streaming platform should I prioritize afterwards? Like, if we do it on both channel points, for example, on both, but who gets to change the avatar with channel point rewards, because we can definitely not do it on both sides. Lots of headaches that will come with that territory as well. Yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't be using the stream as like a therapy session. The only reason I'm mentioning that is because, like, if you see a lack of streams or anything like that, it's not because I don't want to. It's that because I'm trying to figure out a sustainable future for this stream, and the current way of things is not sustainable. That's the way it is. And if you take this, I mean, we've been on this crossroad before, and if you take that as a sign that might not be a future for the channel and you don't want to spend time on this channel, I understand too. Like, I wouldn't be mad. Lots of talented and nice streamers around that you can explore, so do what you must. Time gaps are hard, and so is streaming. You won't always get a lot of views. Yeah. That's the harsh reality that we are facing currently. That it's 11 p.m. for me, and your day probably has just started, and the time zones are insane, so streaming might just not be the best thing to do at the current state of the channel, at least. Honestly, the streamers on my For You page is kind of interesting. That's good. I mean, there's definitely not a lack of good streamers out there. I like small, cozy streamers that I get to chat with or just see and enjoy. I get that feeling. I understand totally. There was like one person who directly told me that the moment a streamer blows up is usually when he leaves the community because he doesn't have that connection with the streamer anymore. So they basically hop from one small community to another because they feel more involved, which they don't in a bigger community. Because I mean, how can you, as a streamer, how can you like reply? I cannot. If there were like 20,000 people currently typing at the same time, I wouldn't be able to reply to anyone or to a lot of people. For them to, it's hard to interact with everyone. Yeah, there's not enough time in the day to interact with everyone. When you turn to like a 20k 1,000 streamer live streamer, there's not, even if they wanted to, there's just not enough time in a day to do so. So what a lot of streamers have been doing in the past is to just engage with the people who pay money, because those messages will be highlighted. It's not like they're greedy, but it's usually the only way for them to just see messages that are not 10 minutes old already. Yeah, but it's the harsh reality. After 5 years, I think I've finally realized that there's no path for me to grow via live streaming. Even if I would be doing it daily for 4 hours or 5 hours, I don't think that's a path. Just because of time zone differences. Yeah, so we need to find a new path and see if I can adapt, and if not, we had 5 wonderful years. Like, I don't regret anything. But it would also be stupid to just like avoid the facts. It is what it is. Do I wish it would be different? Yes. We'd have to stream at like 3 a.m. for us to have at least 3 hours. Yeah, I mean, I started out streaming during peak COVID times. So my sleep schedule was kind of fricked, and I also did not really have issues with neighbors back then. When I started out, later on, I got a little bit of like beef with my neighbors, like downstairs neighbors, because I was too loud. And I started streaming around like 10 p.m. my time. And then I went until like 2 a.m. in the morning. And that is the like whole reason why I think I started getting an NA crowd in the first place. Because back then I didn't use any VPNs to get to reach any people. I just went live at 10 until like 1 a.m. 2 a.m. and naturally more NA people came around. And that's how we built. And we were on a like pretty good track, at least for the first few months of COVID, where we're averaging like 20 people. That was pretty dope. Peak Jinyo VT. Yeah. Peak content. Yeah. It's like everything. It's like in real life. Everything gets more fun if you share it with more people. Playing soccer alone sucks. Playing soccer with 3 people is better. Playing soccer with 11 people is even more fun. That goes with everything. Streaming is no different, and yeah. Now the stream is now getting a little bit depressing. I don't want. Let's end this for today, and we'll see how June shapes up. And yeah, that's all I can say. It's just don't expect too much. It is what it is. Take care of yourselves, and enjoy the first day of June and your first Sunday of the week, of the month. Bye bye. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate the support. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüssi.